Have you ever gotten yourself into a head spin in your mind about what other people think and what you're doing? I've never done this. Just kidding. I think it's a human tendency to worry about what other people think, look at other people's approval, especially when you're an online coach or an entrepreneur. We look for the feedback from other people when we are selling, when we're offering something. We want people to love what we're selling. We want people to buy what we're selling. And we really want people to experience the transformation that we are inviting them into. And yet, when we get caught up in the mind spin and the concern for what other people think, we stop our progress. We hold ourselves back from the freedom and the pure bliss of creation without attachment. We start creating based on what other people want or need or say they need versus creating from the essence of who we are. We start creating from a place of this might work and people might buy this versus I am so in love with this that nobody can ever tell me to stop. The thing with being an entrepreneur, being a coach, especially a transformational coach, it's really important that you're always creating from your heart, from your soul, without worry about what other people are going to think, without worry about, the trolls you might get on social media when you post it, without worry about the judgments or the negativity that might show up. Because when you worry about that, guess what? It shows up. But if you come from a place of absolute love and adoration for the work that you do, from the place of creating from absolute bliss and joy, and it's just your soul being expressed out into the world can't help but love it too. Now, I know this seems counterintuitive because all marketing out there says you need to do your market research and you need to really make sure that you are finding out what your audience wants and then create from there. Yes and no. Doing market research is important. Knowing who your dream client is important. And knowing who you are and why you're creating what you're creating and why you're doing the work you're doing is more important. When you can bridge the gap between those two, it's where the magic happens. So yes, do your market research. Yes, know who you're speaking to, know your audience, know them better than they know themselves, know them inside, outside, upside down, and backwards. But know yourself even more. Be willing to create based on who you are, not based on what you think the world wants from you. Let go of the attachment. Let yourself be in the bliss of what it is that you love more than anything else. And then watch the world respond as a result of that. Come from that place. And the moment you do that, the mind spin, the worry, the concern of other people's opinions, all of it goes away and you become detached from the outcome. And you know what happens when you're detached from outcome? You make more money. Your business skyrockets because you are creating from a place of love and bliss and joy and playfulness, not creating from a place of need. And that right there is the difference. The moment that you need somebody to love what you're building is the moment it all falls apart. So let go of the attachment to outcome and let yourself play in the absolute creation of your extraordinary life and business. Do you sometimes feel like you need to control or effort in order to make more money? I've been there. I've been through the burnout, the adrenal fatigue, the exhaustion, the working 7 days a week, 15-hour days, the whole hustle culture. I used to think that that was the way to the success that I desired. And it's not. All it results in is adrenal fatigue and exhaustion and burnout. When we are trying to effort our way to the financial reward, to the transmutation reward, to anything that we're looking for in our life, whether it be happiness or peace or wealth or a strong relationship, when we are efforting, it creates absolute chaos. When we are trying to control, it creates absolute chaos. I know from experience. And probably you do too, because I think it's a human tendency for us to try to work and manipulate in this material world. The thing is, whatever it is that you wish to experience is your birthright. You do not have to effort to have it arrive. You do not have to effort and work 15-hour days and hustle and grind and control and project manage. You don't have to do any of that. Yes, there is things to do. There are things to do. I heard that. There are things to do in this material world. There are actions to take. And yet the receiving of what it is that you wish to experience is also an activity that must be practiced. When you are so busy in the busy work of building your empire, building your online business, and you're doing this and doing that, and you've got a to-do list of 52 million things, and you're not leaving space for possibility, you're not leaving space to breathe in all of the blessings that are arriving as a result of your efforts, then you are trying too damn hard. Receiving is an activity that requires a breath, a pause, rather than the doing of things, focusing on being. One of my favorite phrases, I've heard this 1,000 times, you are a human being, not a human doing. And so the whole doing of things, although there is some things to do, it's not everything. And so we need to find that balance between I need to do these things and I want to do these things and I'm really excited to build these things and I'm excited to connect with these people and there's some stuff I got to do in my business. And then also the activity of sitting and receiving, of breathing in the blessing, of welcoming it all home. Because you develop your desire comes from your thinking, your feeling, that deep inner why of, oh man, imagine what it would be like to experience this thing. Say you want a consistent $10,000 a month in your business. It's not about the money, it's about the impact and the ability to go on adventures and not worry about paying the bills and taking care of your family and supporting somebody in your neighborhood or whatever it might be. There's a deep burning why. And that why is what drives you forward in the actions. But if you're so busy in the actions, you forget to look up and go, oh, it's all here right now. And so when a client messages you and they want to work with you, instead of sitting and being so grateful that you have a new client and welcoming the financial reward home and welcoming the transformation that's about to occur, we go, oh my God, and now I need to send a contract and I need to get them set up in the onboarding process and I need to do this, and this. And then we start freaking out because there's so much to do. Wealth is your birthright. Whatever it is that you want to experience is your birthright. And it's your job to remember to receive it, receiving it as it comes home to you. And so I invite you to play a game of receiving. Just try this out and see what happens over the next, few days, over the next few weeks. Just play with it and see what happens for you. I invite you to practice the game of receiving. The game of receiving compliments. If someone gives you a compliment, what's your response? Do you push it away? Do you become all closed down and no, I'm not receiving it? Or do you simply say, thank you? I'm curious what that looks like for you. So I invite you to go out into the world being willing to play a game of receiving compliments. Another place that you can play this game is in the receiving of gifts. I've done this before where I would go out into the world and I'd be like, for a week, I'm just going to open myself up to receiving gifts, whatever those gifts might be. Those gifts could be compliments. Those gifts could be little things in the mail. Those gifts could be little trinkets handed to me. Those gifts could be signs from the universe that drop in front of me on my daily walk. It could be anything. But noticing those gifts is the key. If you are so busy with your head down, blinders on, focused on your to-do list, you're going to miss these signs and these synchronicities and these gifts. So I invite you to play a game of receiving so that you can open up that receiving muscle just a little bit more, get a little better at pausing and breathing it in when you receive something back. Such a beautiful game to play. Open yourself up to receive. You get to experience anything that you desire. Anything. It could be, going off to Europe and living in Europe for 2 years and traveling around the world. It could be financial stability and financial freedom. It could be the most incredible, loving, beautiful relationship. It could be this thriving, wealthy business that money flows through, where you're creating massive transformation and helping a lot of people. It can be whatever you want it to be. But do you sometimes get annoyed that you don't know what you want? Or that you think you should want certain things and society's telling you that you should want this? Or maybe you're just caught up in, I want it all and I don't know which one to choose. Well, here's the thing with being able to experience anything you want is that that's limitless. It is expansive. You can do and have and be whatever you want. And with that comes the responsibility of having to choose. It's not about being passive and sitting back and saying, well, I'd really like to win the lottery and I'd really like to work with a bunch of clients, but I don't want to work too hard. And I think travel would be really fun. And then sitting on your couch and watching Netflix and eating popcorn. There's a time and a place for that. But this is an active participation in the co-creation of your dreams. You must decide. You must make a decision that this is what I want to experience. Now, that doesn't mean you can't change your mind. You can absolutely change your mind at any point, but you will not experience your extraordinary dreams unless you decide to experience them and then take action towards it. I think we've been deceived a little bit by books and movies such as The Secret that talk about the law of attraction. Yes, the law of attraction is an incredibly powerful law, but there are so many other laws that we need to be aware of. There are so many other pieces to the puzzle that they didn't tell us in that movie. And so we see it, especially, I see it in the coaching industry all the time, of this passive, I want this thing, but I haven't really decided that I want it, and then I don't know what actions to take, and so I'm not taking any actions, and I'm waiting for that perfect moment, and it really does come down to simply moving forward and taking an action and choosing to go take an action, learn from it, and pivot as needed. I think the coaching industry tells us a story when we look online and we see these quote unquote overnight success of people who I made $60,000 in 24 hours and I did this and I did that. This overnight success crap, it's not real. It's an illusion. And when people tell you that they did this overnight, they did not. There is work to be done. There are actions to be taken. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Building a solid foundational business is not something that happens quickly. It's something that you dedicate yourself to. And there are certain stages in your business growth that you need to go through in order to get there. And one of those is making solid decisions. And another one of those is taking action. So important that we do not just sit passively by hoping and wishing and sending it out to the universe that maybe one day my dreams will come true. Yes, activating your frequencies. Yes, staying true to who you are, meditation, activations, those types of things are very powerful. And you can't just sit on your couch and meditate all day and hope that it shows up. You've got to take some action. There has to be action. Now, this doesn't mean doing 52 million things every day. It means doing one thing every day, of moving the needle forward in some way. Now, you need to have gratitude for your journey. This entrepreneurial game, it is not all rainbows and kittens. There's hard days. There is hard days. You are going to have to do hard things. It's just the nature of the beast, but it's also the beauty in the beast. It is the beauty of this journey of the learning and the growth and the expansion. And so gratitude for the journey is really important. Taking action is really important. And having faith is really important. So use your body, your mind, your feeling state to activate the faith in your body. Use that faith to move yourself forward, to take action, and then gratitude all day long for the experiences, for the growth, for the expansion, for the understanding of what it's like to be an entrepreneur. And enjoy the ride. But a decision to enjoy the ride and actively participate is number one. You're not going to get anywhere, and you're not going to experience your dream if you're not willing to take action. Are you at peace with your own value? And when I ask that question, do you go, wait, what does she mean? Or are you at peace with it? This has been a growth pattern for me for a long time, several years, of really understanding how powerful we really are as human beings, of really understanding the cliche phrase, when you shine your lights, you give other people permission to do the same. It was a cliche for me back in the day, and now I truly understand it and I have embodied it. It is about knowing your worth and your value and how bright your light shines from within. And that you're not needing to go out into the world looking for other people's approval on your decisions. That the feedback you're receiving from the world is nothing but a mirror, showing you exactly what's going on in your internal world. It's not about, creating, let's say you're creating something in your coaching business and you create a program and you go out into the world and you offer it and you're selling it and you're promoting it and you're saying, I can help you. Come and work with me. And then the world is silent. Nobody buys. Nobody books a call with you. Nobody connects with you. Nobody even looks at your post on social media. Do you question your value in that moment and go, oh my God, I must have did it wrong. I obviously screwed up. I've messed it all up. Now I've failed, and you self-sabotage? Or do you know your power and your worth? And do you remind yourself that the feedback has nothing to do with you? Do you take that feedback personally? Or do you take a step back and go, okay, there's nothing wrong with what I'm doing, what I'm creating. I am a powerful being. And I know deep within my soul that what I'm creating for the world is valuable and is a reflection of who I am. So maybe I promote it again. Maybe I changed the language a little bit. Maybe everybody was busy that day. Maybe the algorithms were weird. Whatever, who cares? Continue to stand in your own power. You're not sitting back and waiting for the world to tell you that you're awesome. You're awesome. There, I just told you. But be awesome from within. You don't need your significant other or your coach or your parents or anybody else to tell you that you're a freaking rock star. You need to be the one to tell yourself that every single moment of the day. No matter what's going on out there in the world, whether social media is all messed up or Facebook has crashed or people aren't buying your program or money is a challenge or anything, whatever's happening for you, it's nothing but a mirror, and it's nothing but feedback to show you what's happening within you. And if you're questioning what's happening within you, the world will provide you feedback of that. But if you are standing strong, standing powerful, standing courageous, knowing your value, not questioning it for 1 second, being the king or queen and standing true to that, then you are unstoppable. You cannot be stopped. You are powerful. You're a rock star. You are fantastic. You are awesome. I could keep going, but do it for yourself. Stand in that power, not needing feedback from anyone or anything, knowing who you are and the value that is intrinsically yours. Do you trust in your value? Do you know your value to the core of your being? I was told this story several years ago, and it has stuck with me for years. Is when a baby is born, We think when a baby is born, they start screaming. It's not true. When a baby is born, the first thing that the baby does is breathe in. They receive from the world first, and then they start screaming or yelling or crying or whatever. I've never given birth, so I don't know what that actually is, but this story really stuck with me we are constantly trying to prove our worth by going out into the world and saying, look at me, I've done this, I've done that, look at all my certifications, look at all these modalities, this is my label, this is what I call myself, and so you need to come work with me. And it's a bit of a proving energy of, look at all the certifications and education that I have, so I'm good enough for you to hire to come work with, versus showing up in service, knowing your value, knowing that you can help people, but not needing to prove it to anybody, just simply having faith in it and having some humility in it. Showing up knowing that you can solve a problem or provide a solution without needing to throw all your certifications at them, or needing to say, I've been doing this for 20 years or anything of the sort. When you know your value, you can take a leap of faith and trust in yourself. You can put yourself out there without needing to prove that you've got it figured out, without needing to prove through paperwork and certifications and all the things. You can simply make your move. You can make your move. You can trust that the world, that the people that need you will be there. You will attract those people because you're coming from a place of service, of providing a solution, of offering support and holding space while they are going through a transformation. And you can stand firm in the actions that you're taking as you move forward. I see this happen in the coaching industry a lot, especially in the online space. If you go on social media, you see it everywhere. Coaches talking about, I've got this and that and that and that. And I used to do it too. I was trained to do this by business coaches back in the day, to make sure in your bio that you've got all your certifications, all of your modalities, and all of the reasons why someone should, quote unquote, trust you to come work with you. Well, everything is a mirror. Everything is a reflection of what's happening inside. So if you're posting all of that and trying to prove your worth to the world, then the world is going to need proof. And so they will ask you for all your certifications and all your paperwork and all your education. But if you stand firm in your value and you trust in your value, and you're not looking to prove that value to anyone, but you show up ready to provide a solution, ready to support, ready to hold space, and you clearly communicate that through speaking to them, not at them, then you immediately attract that same trust back. So be willing to trust yourself. Be willing to trust your value, that you don't need to go and put all your modalities and all your certifications out there. It is amazing and wonderful the amount of education you have. And to be honest, nobody cares about your certifications but you. I've got a lot of certifications and I'm aware of that because I thought that's what I needed. What I really needed, and what we all need, is more faith in ourselves so that we can mirror that out to the world and hold space for others to have faith in themselves too. So don't be passive in this. Don't procrastinate in this. Don't think about my feelings later. I've got things to do. Do not be passive in your ability to take action, knowing your value and your worth. You don't have to wait for that certification to be complete. You don't have to wait for the perfect conditions. You don't have to wait until you've completed something. Take a leap of faith on yourself. Go put yourself out there. Do the thing. Because the world needs you. The world needs you to mirror your value and your worth out there. So don't wait until you've got all the certifications and modalities. Don't wait until you've figured out how to pull all those modalities and certifications together into something that makes sense. Some of the coaches that I work with have over 20 modalities and get so caught up in the confusion of how to move that out into the world. People don't buy your modalities, they buy the result that you provide. So go out there, trust your value, trust that you are the person to help them with the solution they're looking for, and that you can hold space for them without the damn certification being completed, and learn along the way. This is so, so, so important. I see coaches get caught up in this all the time, caught up in this, well, it's not perfect yet, and so I can't move forward. I've got to have this completed. I've got to finish this. I've got to get that certification. I don't know how all my certifications fit together. Just go do the thing. Do you feel like you've got dues to pay, or that somehow you owe the world something? This is something that I see happen a lot in the coaching industry, especially with spiritual coaches, where we think we need to just give and 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 give until we are so burnt out and exhausted and depleted that there's nothing left to give. And then the coaches sit there and go, well, why am I not making any money? I've been taught multiple different ways to offer online coaching, to promote online coaching. And one of the ways I've been taught in the past is to offer up free coaching. And in the free coaching, the intention there is that you offer a free session and they think you're amazing, and so they choose to hire you from that free session. And I am here to put a stop to that modality entirely. No more free coaching. Please, for the love of God, no more free coaching. It's not a model that serves your client, and it certainly doesn't serve you. I've done this for years. I showed up in the online space offering free numerology readings, free coaching sessions, and I would do them weekly. And I would have the same people show up week after week after week. And in that, I would see zero change and zero transformation. They would continue to come back week after week after week. Now, I see this happening in other modalities. Talk therapy, for example, is a prime example of how you can go and you feel better for an hour, and then you leave and you go back to your day-to-day life, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, and this sucks and that sucks, and you just get sucked back into it. Transformational work is about creating absolute solid change, where you don't go back to where you used to be, where you don't revert back to old patterns and old habits. And so as a transformational coach, as I was witnessing me showing up for this free coaching every week, I realized I was doing those people a disservice. And I was doing myself a disservice because they were coming to the free coaching and not investing in themselves and their own growth and expansion. They weren't investing in their own transformation because free coaching. And they would feel better for an hour, and then they would go back to their habits, and then they would have to come the next week and the next week and the next week. So please, if you are a coach and you're out there, please hear me. Free coaching does everyone a disservice. If you are excited about your clients getting results, in whatever industry you might be in, if you are excited about your clients getting results, free coaching does nothing but halt those results. There needs to be an investment in time, energy, and most often financial or some sort of service exchange. And the service exchange needs to be mutually beneficial. Not just offering something that you do for free in hopes that you can get something for free, but really thinking, is this a win-win-win for everybody? Is this something that this particular coach even needs or wants? And then really recognizing the investment energy. I have invested tens and thousands, probably more closer to hundreds of thousands of dollars in my own personal growth and expansion. I have invested money in business development, in personal development, in spiritual development. And I have also invested time and energy in a lot of free coaching. And what I can tell you for sure is that the change happened from the paid coaching, not the free coaching. The free coaching, I would show up, I wouldn't take it seriously. I didn't have any skin in the game. It was cool, it was fun. I learned some stuff and they just stuck in my head. It was never embodied. And the transmutation never occurred. But when I took a leap of faith on myself and really stepped up and said, you know what, no, I'm going to do this. And I would spend $10,000 on a coach and then invest in that change and that growth, boom, the change would occur. So if you're a coach out there and you've been taught to do free coaching models and to offer, free 30-minute coaching session, or to be in a Facebook group where you're offering free coaching, or to do free readings or whatever, please stop. Just shut it down now, because you're only doing everybody a disservice. The only time that this is useful to do free coaching like this is if you're experimenting with something new. If you are learning a new modality and you're practicing, and if you're like calling in beta clients and you're asking them for a testimonial in return, then a free coaching session will work. It makes sense. You're still getting something in return. You're getting that testimonial and you're getting feedback from that person. So there's still an exchange. There's still a mutual investment. But when you're just showing up and giving and giving and giving and giving and giving, you're giving it all away. You're depleting yourself and you're forgetting 50% of the transaction is the receiving. You must be receiving something too. So if you're a coach out there who has not been financially successful, who's struggling with trying to make the money, stop free coaching, know your value, choose to own your value, and really step into a model of, I charge for my services. I have studied, I have learned, I have done the work, I have grown, I know who I am. And from that, I know my value and my worth, especially as a coach. And that means that I charge for my services. You are a business owner. Businesses make money. So it's okay. I know. It's so easy to just give and give and give. But you weren't put here to be the rescuer. You weren't put here to be the mother who hovers over everyone and makes sure they're okay. You were put here to hold space for a transformation in your clients. So let them have that by allowing the investment to occur.